The BAFTA goes to Conclave.
Conclave, a thriller about scheming cardinals electing a pope, won top prize at the UK's BAFTA Film Awards on Sunday. Director Edward Berger led the acceptance speech.
We live in a time of a crisis of democracy, and institutions are, that are usually used to bring us together, are used to pull us apart. And sometimes it's hard to keep the faith in that situation. But that's why we make movies, and that's why we really made this movie.
In addition to Best Film, Conclave led with a dozen nominations.
Conclave!
It also won Outstanding British Film, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Editing. Also winning 4 BAFTA Film Awards was The Brutalist, a tale about a Hungarian architect rebuilding his life in post-war United States. It won Best Director, Original Score and Cinematography, and Best Actor for its star, Adrian Brody.
This pursuit of leaving something meaningful, and I think that's something we can all relate to.
While Demi Moore was considered a frontrunner for Best Leading Actress for her work in body horror The Substance, in one of the surprises of the night, it was Mikey Madison who won the category, who in Sean Baker's Honora plays an exotic dancer who marries a Russian oligarch's son.
Thank you so much, Sean Baker. I just adore you.
Honora is seen as a strong awards season contender in the approach to next month's Oscars. So far, Honora has picked up wins at the Critics' Choice Awards, as well as the Producers and Directors Guild of America Awards. Meanwhile, early season frontrunner Emilia Perez picked up 2 BAFTAs, one in the film not in the English language category, and another for Zoe Saldana as supporting actress. That film's campaign lost steam after controversy surrounding cast member Carla Sofia Gascon. In recent weeks, she has apologized for past social media comments denigrating certain groups, including Muslims. A Delta Airlines plane flipped upside down while landing in Toronto on Monday. Officials say over a dozen people were injured on board, 3 of them critically, including a child. However, there were no fatalities in the crash. The plane first took off from Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, and after an 86-minute flight, came to rest belly up on the snowy tarmac at Toronto's airport. Audio from air traffic control paints a picture of what arriving fire crews first saw.
Just so you are, there's people outside walking around the aircraft there. Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft's upside down and burning.
Delta said a CRJ-900 aircraft operated by its Endeavour Air subsidiary was involved in a single aircraft accident with 76 passengers and 4 crew aboard. The CRJ-900 jet is made by Canada's Bombardier and powered by GE Aerospace engines. Canada says it would investigate the cause of the crash, which is not yet known. The incident came amid windy weather following a snowstorm. The airport had said earlier on Monday it was dealing with high winds and frigid temperatures. However, on Monday evening, Toronto Pearson Fire Chief Todd Aiken had this to say about runway conditions.
This is an active investigation. It's very early on. It's really important that we do not speculate. What we can say is the runway was dry and there was no crosswind conditions.
The crash in Canada follows other recent air travel incidents in North America. In late January, at least 7 people died when a medical transport plane crashed in Philadelphia. And days before that, an Army helicopter collided with a passenger jet in Washington, D.C., killing 67 people.
China hit back at the US State Department on Monday after it removed wording from its website that said it does not support Taiwan independence. Washington says the change was part of a routine update. China, which claims the democratically governed island of Taiwan as its own, urged the US to, quote, correct its mistakes. The fact sheet on Taiwan, updated last week, retains Washington's opposition to unilateral change from either Taiwan or from China. But, as well as dropping the phrase, "we do not support Taiwan independence," the page added a reference to Taiwan's cooperation with the Pentagon Technology and Semiconductor Project. It also said the US will support Taiwan's membership in international organizations, quote, where applicable. Beijing regularly denounces any international recognition of Taiwan or contact between Taiwanese and foreign officials. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiakun.
The revision of the fact sheet on US-Taiwan relations by the US State Department, which seriously regressed its position on Taiwan-related issues, seriously violated the One China principle and the 3 Sino-US joint communiques, seriously violated international law and basic norms of international relations, and sent a seriously wrong signal to the Taiwan independent separatist forces. This is another example of the US side's stubborn adherence to the wrong policy of using Taiwan to contain China.
The website update came roughly 3 weeks after US President Donald Trump was sworn into his second term in the White House, and one analyst said this reflects a shift in the Trump-era priorities. The US, like most countries, has no formal diplomatic ties with Taiwan, but is its strongest international backer. Taiwan's government rejects Beijing's sovereignty claims, saying that only the island's people can decide their future.
This Palestinian man is reunited with his family in Khan Yunis after being jailed in Israel for nearly a year. 39-year-old medic and father of 2, Tarek Rabbi Safi, was released on Saturday, along with 368 other Palestinian detainees as part of a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Safi was detained on March 3, 2024, and brought to an Israeli detention center, where he says he was physically tortured and underfed by his captors. There was no decent food or drinks or medical treatment. My arm was broken, and they did not treat me. They did not get me checked by a doctor, he says. He adds that a young man who was in the same room as him had died as a result of the treatment. Safi's wife, Abdallah, is grateful that wasn't her husband's fate. I thank God who brought back my husband in good health, she says. The happiness is indescribable. It is difficult to describe the feeling. Reuters was unable to independently establish the accuracy of the accounts of mistreatment provided by Safi and the other detainees it interviewed. The Israeli military rejected claims of torture in an emailed response to Reuters, saying detainees are given food and drink and have access to medical care. They said they are aware of incidents of detainee deaths, but cannot comment as investigations are pending. The Palestinian Prisoner Association, which documents Israeli detentions of Palestinians, say Israel is carrying out systematic crimes and revenge attacks against prisoners.
Britain said it was ready to send peacekeeping troops to back up any Ukraine peace deal, as European leaders gathered in Paris on Monday to agree to a unified strategy. The emergency summit came together after U.S. President Donald Trump's administration, Kyiv's main military backer, announced talks with Russia to seek an end to the war. A French presidency official said the discussion would look at, quote, the security guarantees that can be given by the Europeans and the Americans, together or separately, with peacekeepers being just one element of the security guarantees. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's comments on sending British troops reflect a realization among European nations that they will have to do more to ensure Ukraine's security and their own.
We're facing a generational challenge when it comes to national security. Obviously, the immediate question is the future of Ukraine. It's the front line of Europe and of the United Kingdom. It's about our national security. And I think that we need to do more. We need to step up.
A peacekeeping force would not only risk a direct confrontation with Russia, but also raises questions about how some European nations will pay for such expanded military commitments, as their arsenals have been depleted by supplying Ukraine and decades of relative peace. Germany and Sweden signaled the possibility of sending troops, while the Dutch government said it could contribute given a clear mandate and a pledge of U.S. support in any escalation. Ukraine's neighbor Poland, which has NATO's third largest army, said it would not provide troops, while Spain said it was too early for such an offer. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman welcomed U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Riyadh on Monday, with talks set for Tuesday between senior U.S. and Russian officials. The U.S. negotiating team also includes National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff. The highest-level in-person discussions between the nations in years are meant to precede a meeting between Trump and Putin. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said at a press conference on Monday that Ukraine will not take part in the Riyadh talks and that the country will disregard any deal made without Kyiv's participation.